we're on the way to breakfast, and it's Saturday. So we're gonna see the Duomo and the Leonardo da Vinci, right? That's the Leonardo?
Yeah.
Leonardo da Vinci Museum, and we're seeing two gallerias. One is a shopping mall and one is an art gallery. So today is gonna be a fun-filled day, hopefully. We're not done by 1 p.m. like we were yesterday, but first we're getting breakfast, so I'm really excited about that part too. Okay, the original breakfast place was too full, so we found a different cafe, and they're now eating here.
I forgot to film breakfast, but I got a bagel that was really good and a blueberry drink.
Okay, we're finding the entrance to Duomo, and then we're gonna see the lift, and then the crypt.
So right outside Duomo was a Christmas market, but unfortunately it didn't open until the week after we left. And Duomo from the outside was very beautiful, but it got even more beautiful when we took the elevator up to the roof. You have to get a special ticket for the elevator that costs $4, but to me it was completely worth it because you got to see a whole section of the rooftop that's only available to people on the elevator, and it was a lot easier to walk around, take photos, take videos without it being super crowded. It also wasn't a huge wait to get on the elevator, so overall the elevator was really smooth and I definitely would suggest it, especially if you're a little bit lazy like me, because there are a ton of stairs that you'll have to go up if you're not. We did still have to take a few stairs from where we got off the elevator to like the real roof of Duomo. The views from the stairs were still amazing, and it wasn't too bad in terms of number of stairs, especially because, of course, we skipped a huge chunk of them with the elevator, and this is the view that you get at the top. So it was a really nice view, but I kind of enjoyed the parts where it was elevator only a little more than the rooftop because it was just so many people on the rooftop. They, however, do not let you take the elevator down, so to get to the church part, we had to take, I think it was over 200 steps to get in there. In the church itself, it looked a lot like a regular church for most of it, but they did have these absolutely gorgeous stained glass windows that kind of reminded me of comic books because they were made up of a ton of little panels. To be honest though, outside of the stained glass windows, I actually think the church was a little more impressive from the outside. The area near Duomo though was so crowded, it was so hard to walk.
So we just saw all that the Duomo has to offer, including the church and the museum, and then the rooftop and the crypt, which I would not suggest spending your money on seeing. So now we're heading to the Galleria d'Italia and also the Leonardo da Vinci Museum, and we're probably going to Galleria Vittorio to get to both of those.
Also in the main square, they had a countdown to the Olympics, which is now in just under 2 weeks. To get to the next museums, we ended up walking through the Galleria Vittorio Mall, which is absolutely gorgeous and also, again, pretty crowded. The shops in there are so fancy though, so I don't think I could afford to buy anything, even if I really wanted to. Our first stop after the mall was the Galleria d'Italia, which is a museum. It's full of art, fashion, historical artifacts, and just basically anything you could imagine that's slightly art related is here. There were statues, there were so many different types of paintings and drawings, everything from like historical architecture drawings to more modern pieces as well. So it was really cool to see a wide range of Italy's history. I genuinely think we saw every room in the place, and I feel like I probably took a video of most of them too. I really like the modern exhibits. Some of them were super cool, like this painting right here, and I also like some of the historical ones as well. I love the color of the modern ones, but obviously I could not tell you at all the subject matter for most of them. Like these ones right here, they just look splattery to me, but in a cool way. I also loved the building photos, and they also showed historically what some of the buildings look like, which I thought was so cool. And then you look at some of the older stuff, it really gives you an idea of what historical life might have been like in Italy especially. I love these landscape paintings, they were so calming. And I also love the gallery itself. I believe it was made in an old house, or at least an old building in the square. So it really felt like you were walking through someone's home filled with art rather than like a new, clean, kind of cold museum. The ceilings were also amazing. And they had a really nice courtyard as well. Though, to be completely honest, we did almost try to walk back into the building through an emergency exit because we did not see the sign. These I also thought were really cool, kind of relief sculptures, I think is what it's called. But don't quote me on that. I was not that type of art student. After the museum, we were pretty hungry, so we went to McDonald's. Was the craziest McDonald's experience I've ever had. It was so crowded and so difficult just to get your food and find a seat, but it did taste like McDonald's. Afterwards, we ended up in the Leonardo da Vinci Museum, which was so cool. It felt like walking into an inventor's workshop, basically. It showed all of the types of inventions he tried to make, which were mainly flying machines, but also included a couple other things like a mechanical lion. They also had these fun interactive displays where you could kind of build the invention on your own and see what it was supposed to look like when it moved. The museum also showed off some of his other work, like his drawings, his art, his music as well. It gave you a great idea of Leonardo da Vinci as a whole. This Mona Lisa exhibit showed off how her eyes follow you everywhere. It was a little bit creepy. They also had an area where you could kind of build some of his inventions. This was supposed to be a bridge that stands up on its own, I guess. As you're about to see, we did not build this correctly. And of course, since I'm basically a child, I also tried out everything else available.
Okay, so it's almost 4 p.m. and we finished the Leonardo Museum, and now we're once again looking for things to do. So we're probably gonna go back to Navigli and get some drinks probably. So we decided not to go to Navigli and are in a neighborhood called Porta Romana, which apparently has some good cafes. And that is what we'll be doing.
We basically just chilled at a cafe between when we finished with the museums and dinner. I got a coffee and also a iced tea. After the cafe, we headed right back to Duomo because our restaurant reservation was right in that area. Here's what the area looks at night, which I honestly think is maybe even prettier than the daytime. I love how these streets look when they are lit up. This was the walk from Duomo to the place we ate at. We each got pasta for dinner. I had some wine to drink on the side. The place was really fancy, but not that expensive, and it was delicious. The desserts were especially delicious.